This video is brought to you by Wrestling Amino. Wrestling Amino is a social network built specifically for pro wrestling fans. Build your profile, connect with other fans just like you, and share your thoughts on anything and everything wrestling. Download it now on iOS and Android devices. As WWE so eloquently puts it, you don't receive a nickname like the man that gravity forgot by being ordinary. Truly one of the most exciting performers in wrestling today, Adrian Neville, now commonly referred to as just Neville, is loved by fans everywhere for his agile, high-flying style. Though an injury set him back in the WWE and he's likely stuck in the mid-card as a result of being a smaller guy, Neville still boasts many accolades that prove just how good he is. He's one of the most highly requested wrestlers for this series, so today I present Wrestling Origins, Neville. Benjamin Satterley, who goes by Ben, was born on August 22, 1986 in Newcastle, England. He grew up in the UK and was an extremely active kid. You guys probably have a brother or cousin or something just like this. They always want to just run around and they play almost every sport. This is exactly how Ben was. He played soccer, hockey, basketball, and even took up swimming. Having played all these traditional sports, it's no surprise Ben took a liking to professional wrestling. As he said, it was like nothing he had ever seen before. He loved watching WWE when he was a kid after he first learned about it through his aunt, but his parents quickly banned him from watching wrestling. This wouldn't stop little Benjamin though, as he would secretly go over to his aunt's house to watch it instead. His absolute favorite wrestlers were The Undertaker and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. When Ben turned 18, he decided to pursue his true passion, which over the years he had learned was professional wrestling. He started training at a local wrestling school called St. Joseph's Hall, though credits his first wrestling promotion as his main source of training. Speaking of his first promotion, Satterley would debut on March 27, 2004 as Pac at Independent Wrestling Federation, or IWF, though he lost. If you're curious, the name Pac comes from the fact that he always had noticeable abs as a kid, and his dad would call him Six Pac. Of course, that name was already taken, so he just went with Pac. Pac spent 2 years wrestling mainly for IWF and 3-count wrestling, learning the game and honing his skills. He would win his first piece of gold on August 26, 2005, where he won the Tag Team Championship with Harry Payne. He would also win the 3CW Young Lions Championship and 3CW Heavyweight Championship in early 2006. Around the same time, he would also start moving to other promotions across the UK and Europe. Before we go any further, I just want to mention that as usual, I'm not going to cover every single promotion Pac has worked in, as there are simply too many, but instead I'll cover his bigger runs. I will, however, list off some of the smaller ones right now. Frontier Wrestling Alliance, New Wrestling Entertainment, Fighting Spirit Federation, and Westside Extreme Wrestling to name a few. After joining One Pro Wrestling, Pac became the first openweight champion, a title he would defend on several occasions. He would hold it from November until June of 2007 when he lost it to James Wallace. Over in International Pro Wrestling UK, Pac would advance to the second round of the King of Europe Cup, a prestigious tournament, though would be defeated by Nigel McGuinness in the quarterfinals. Another notable part of Pac's career over in Europe came in 2007 also, when he competed as Jungle Pac, which is exactly what it sounds like. He was billed from the jungle and changed his attire to match. He would have a noteworthy match for the Cruiserweight Championship there against Matt Cross, Juventud Guerrera, and Supernova, though he wouldn't win. Now let's move outside of Europe. On November 17, 2006, Pac made his debut in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Yes, we're jumping back in time a little bit. He would quickly compete against AJ Styles as part of All-Star Weekend 4, but was unsuccessful. The next night, he would face off against El Generico in a match that was regarded as a contender for Match of the Year. Pac would wrestle in other promotions, which I promise I will cover in this video, but returned to PWG in February of 2007, where he defeated Kevin Steen. He would then be awarded a shot at El Generico's PWG World title, but was defeated once again. The next month, Pac would team up with Roderick Strong and won the World Tag Team Championships after defeating the Briscoe brothers in the finals of a tournament. They would hold these for a few months till the end of July, when they lost to Kevin Steen and El Generico. Also a part of PWG, Pac competed in the 2007 Battle of Los Angeles tournament, where he would pick up a win over Claudio Castagnoli in the second round before losing in the semifinals. Skipping forward to 2008, Pac would return to PWG after a long absence. He would get a World Championship shot against Chris Hero, but was unsuccessful. He would also return after many years in a losing effort against Kevin Steen, and wrestled his final match in PWG in 2012 by winning a 6-man tag match. Now let's jump back to 2007, where Pac briefly worked in TNA. In January of that year, he would work 2 matches, both being #1 contender fatal 4-way matches, though lost both of them. After his extremely short time in TNA, Pac would debut in Ring of Honor at their shows in Liverpool. He lost to Roderick Strong in his first match, and would also lose his second match to Matt Sydal, aka Evan Bourne. He would have 2 more matches later that year against Bryan Danielson and Davey Richards, though lost both. In April of 2007, Pac made his debut for Chikara in a 4-way elimination match against Chuck Taylor, Ricochet, and Retail Dragon. Once again, Pac would lose this match, as well as to Ricochet when he returned there in August. He would also face Claudio Castagnoli the next night, but would be defeated. Just to make things clear, Pac may have been losing these matches, but he is always entertaining. Now while all this was going on, Pac was also working for Dragon Gate over in Japan, which is why his appearances stateside were so sporadic. He would enter a tournament for the Open the Brave Gate Championship, but lost in the first round in April 2008. He would then team up with Dragon Kid for the Open the Twin Gate Championships, but lost again. In 2009, Pac would join the World 1 stable. This stable was unable to win the Open the Triangle Gate titles on 2 occasions, but they finally defeated Warriors 5 in June of that year to become the champs. They would hold these titles all the way to mid-October, ending the reign at 78 days. Moving forward to February 2010, Pac would challenge for the Open the Brave Gate Championship, but was defeated. However, he would win the vacant belt in August in a tournament to crown the new champion. Around the same time, World 1 would also chase the titles once again, but lost to Blood Warriors and were forced to disband. In June of 2010, Pac would team up with Dragon Kid to win the Open the Twin Gate Championships, but lost them under a month later. Moving to 2012, Pac would defend his Open the Brave Gate title against Ricochet. Here, Pac was defeated, which ended his reign at a record 447 days. From there, Pac would get a shot at the Open the Dream Gate Championship, the promotion's top title, but would be unsuccessful. He would continue wrestling in Dragon Gate, winning the Open the Triangle Gate titles again, before wrestling his last match there on July 22, 2012, in a successful defense. Let's head back to 2010 for a second. In American Wrestling Rampage, Pac would notably wrestle El Generico in a series of matches before defeating him, as well as Michael Knight for the No Limits Championship. He would defend the title twice against El Generico before losing it just a few days later. Also in 2010, Pac made his debut for Dragon Gate USA. Here, he would notably become Dragon Gate USA's first ever Open the United Gate champion with his partner. However, they would lose the belts to their Japanese counterparts in a title vs title match. It's also worth noting that Pac made a brief appearance in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he notably defeated Jushin Thunder Liger in the Best of the Super Juniors tournament, but eventually lost to Raisuke Taguchi and was eliminated in June of 2012. In July of 2012, it was reported that Ben Satterley had signed a contract with WWE and was set to join the developmental territory NXT. He would debut there on January 16, 2013, under the name Adrian Neville, and defeated Sakamoto. Soon, Neville would become the inaugural NXT Tag Team Champion with his partner Oliver Gray after defeating Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. However, Gray would be injured in story, and Neville would lose the titles with his replacement partner Bo Dallas. After losing a battle royal and being eliminated by Dallas, Neville teamed up with Corey Graves to regain the NXT Tag Team Championships. A few months later, however, the two would fall to the Ascension and lost the belts. Moving back into singles competition, Neville defeated Sami Zayn to become top contender for the NXT Championship. He would challenge Dallas numerous times but wouldn't win the belt, be it the result of a countout or disqualification. Finally, at NXT Arrival, Neville would beat Dallas in a ladder match and become NXT Champion. Neville would defeat the likes of Brodus Clay, Tyson Kidd, Tyler Breeze, and even Sami Zayn as part of his title reign. Still NXT Champion, Neville would make his Raw debut in an effort to promote NXT TakeOver, teaming with Sami Zayn against Breeze and Kidd. At NXT TakeOver, Neville would retain in a fatal 4-way match, and in December would become the longest reigning NXT champion, until Finn Balor in 2016. His reign would finally end at 287 days when he lost to Sami Zayn at NXT TakeOver R Evolution. Neville would attempt to win the belt back, but had no success, and would lose to Finn Balor at NXT TakeOver Rival before being called up to the main roster. Since his call-up, Neville, as he is now referred to, has been relatively quiet. He competed in the 2015 King of the Ring tournament where he lost to Bad News Barrett, and also competed against John Cena in a losing effort for his United States title. After losing to Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, and Seth Rollins, Neville finally caught a break when he worked with actor Stephen Amell in a feud against Stardust, and the two would defeat Stardust and Barrett at SummerSlam. Like I said before, Neville may not always pick up the win, but he is always fun to watch. In 2015, he even won a Slammy Award for Breakout Star of the Year. In March of 2016, Neville would fracture his ankle during a match with Chris Jericho, and was sidelined for 4 months. He recently made his return in July of this year after being drafted to Raw, though unfortunately has only really been used for filler matches since then. And that was Wrestling Origins Neville. This video was highly requested, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Also, hit me up on Twitter to suggest someone for next week's episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.